Welcome to the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, where we help you conquer the internet one video at a time. We cover everything from how to start a YouTube channel to how to make a video go viral. And now, here's your host, the one and only Dusty Porter.
Hey guys, and welcome back to episode 11, I cannot believe it, of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast. Today we are joined by Mr. Tyrone Magnus with over 700,000 YouTube subscribers. So make sure you stick around for the interview portion of this episode. It is absolutely off the charts. You definitely don't want to miss that. I do want to remind everyone to go on over to our Patreon page. For as little as a couple of dollars, you can support us and help us keep the lights on here at the show. Don't forget to use the Audible link as well to get a free audiobook that helps the show out as well. So those two things would really be greatly appreciated. So before we get into the interview portion of the show today, I do want to talk about a few things. The first thing I want to talk about is collaboration. So I get a lot of messages and emails, especially this week, about how do I reach out to someone? How do I get a collaboration on my YouTube channel? Now, there's a bunch of ways to do this. You can either cold call them, or I call it cold call them. You can email them, or you can, the best place to hit people up is on Twitter. So if you go to Twitter, you go and Google their name, find their Twitter account, send them a Twitter @response, whatever you want to call that, and then boom, the next thing you know, they'll respond to you and see if they want to work with you. Now, what I would also let you know is this: you don't want to collaborate with someone who doesn't really have any way association with your channel. So if you're a gaming channel, you don't want to collaborate with a fashion channel. That wouldn't work very well. You want to collaborate with two like-minded individuals that when you do a collaboration on their channel, they'll do one on your channel, and there's just a big cross promotion. So as I've said numerous times on the show, the more places on the internet that are pointing in your direction, the better. So you want your channel link in their description, you want their channel link in your description, and it just helps. The way SEO works and things like that, the more collaborations you can do, the better. So definitely reach out on Twitter, reach out on email. You can even go on Facebook, send them a direct message there. You don't want to bug somebody, but if you have great valuable content, and you don't want to do this when you're just starting out, go ahead and produce some content so when they go to your channel and look and see if they want to collaborate with you, they're going to have something to go by and say, hey, this guy, I want to do collaborations with him. So what I found is doing YouTube content and now podcast, people are going to want, they're going to, navigate to you when you create solid content. So now that I've created some content, now that I have some podcast episodes out there on the interwebs, I have people coming to me saying, hey, I would like to be on your show. So make sure you create that solid content first, and then once you have that base of stuff there on your channel, that will then allow people to be attracted to you and want to collaborate with you, as opposed to you having to reach out to those people all of the time. So the last thing I want to talk about before jumping into the interview portion of the show is, last week I had mentioned a few free resources for creating video content, like thumbnails for your videos, as well as like free audio software. There's a couple places that I want to plug. They're not advertisers, but I think they would help you out. The first thing I want to mention is, when creating thumbnails, there are two free options that I believe to be the best for YouTubers. The number one option for me is Pixelmator. I actually have a video on how to use Pixelmator on my channel if you want to know how to use it. It's called Pixelmator, Pixelmator. It's completely free. Now, I believe there's a premium version now, but for what you need to do for your thumbnails, for your channel, and for your videos, that's going to be a great piece of software. And then the next piece of software for for photo editing is going to be one called a GIMP, G-I-M-P. Google GIMP, Google Pixelmator, see which one will fit your needs better, and download them both, and tell me later on through email or through Twitter what you think about them. If they helped you out, I would really like to know that. Also, there is a website that I'm using now. Now, I pay for the website. It's called Audio Blocks, Audio Blocks. It's a place where you pay them $100 a year, and you get free access to royalty-free music, sound effects, loops, things like that. And I have found it to help me immensely with the podcast, with the YouTube channel. And I'm telling you guys, if you want some good music beds, invest in your channel, this would be a great way to do that. I'll link down below to Audio Blocks, and I think you guys would really find that interesting and helpful for your channel. Also, don't forget Audacity. That's just a free audio editing software. I'll put all these links down below. I'm just trying to throw you guys some free tools that you can use to get started. That way, the initial cost for a channel is not so high to begin with, and then eventually you can, subscribe to Adobe and get the more higher end software. But just starting out, use some of these tools, and I promise you, it's going to be just just as good as if you had the higher end stuff. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the interview with Mr. Tyrone Crawley. Don't forget to support the channel on Patreon, like I said earlier, on Audible as well. And I will see you guys at the end of the show. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the next episode here of the YouTube Creators Hub podcast, the interview portion of the show. And I'm so excited to have Mr. Tyrone Magnus with us. He is a comedian YouTuber who is also an actor, model, and voiceover artist who has amassed over 700,000 subscribers on YouTube. He has been on YouTube creating content now for over 4 years. Go check him out. How are you doing today, Tyrone?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic. So without wasting any time, we're going to jump right into the interview here. So let's go ahead and go to question number one. Tyrone, how did you get started on YouTube?
Well, I mainly kind of started it as a side door to Hollywood. I had tried the main route, and it really wasn't working that well. Basically, I'd gone to a talent event called IMTA.
Right.
A lot of major actors have been there, like Eva Longoria, Ashton Kutcher, Katie Holmes, Jessica Biel. They've all been there to compete. There's a bunch of actors, models, singers, dancers, everything's there. And I actually ended up winning Actor of the Year. So
nice.
I was stoked. I was ready, to go to Hollywood. I was ready to start acting. And basically, I started going on different, auditions, and it was so depleting to my bank account, that I was like, wait a minute, I've got to find another way to do this because I just don't have the means to support myself.
Sure.
And I found out that YouTube was a nice platform to earn money while entertaining people. And a lot of people have gotten noticed through it. And that's what I decided to do. And it's now working.
Well. So now I know I've talked to you about this off air just a few minutes ago. Now YouTube is your sole job, right? This is what you do all the time, right?
Exactly.
All right.
And I basically look at it as it's just my living, my investment in myself. I really feel like I'm retired because I don't feel like I work. I really feel like I just have fun.
Right. You get to just have fun.
Yes. So
that's awesome. So that transitions perfectly into question number two. A lot of my listeners like to hear how YouTube is indeed a business for someone. So can you maybe expound upon the fact of how have you created a business with creating YouTube videos?
Well, it's funny because you do have to look at it as a business in certain aspects. There are certain things that I'm planning on doing as far as expanding, but it's mainly right now, as if you want to call it a business for me, it's more of a promotional business than anything. It helps get my name out there since I want to be an actor.
Right.
But now I'm being offered, certain small movie roles, certain voiceover jobs, I'm asked to, do the product placement now.
Right.
So it's definitely expanding. That's one of the main things with a business is you want your business to expand, and you want to be able to bring in more revenue every year, and that's what it's doing. And I believe every YouTuber is going to take it in whatever direction they feel like taking it in.
Right.
So
for you, the money making aspects of it are far beyond just the AdSense revenue on the videos. You're doing like product placement, and your videos are getting your name and your face out there for producers and things like that, directors to get in touch with you to maybe land a bigger job down the road.
Exactly. I mean, case in point, and I made jokes about this in my videos, but it's kind of like, you never know type of thing. When I went to LA a couple weeks ago, and when I was out there, Tom Holland, the new Spider-Man, came running up to me, and he was like, Tyrone Magnus. I'm like, what's up? And he's like, I'm Tom Holland. I'm like, what's up, man? And he's like, yo, I watch your videos all the time. I showed the Russo brothers your reaction to Captain America Civil War trailer, and they went nuts. And I'm like, that's huge.
Yeah.
And them knowing I'm an actor, who knows what they might need me for or want me for, and if that gets my name and face out there. You just never know who you're going to meet and who, what influence you might have through your channel.
Right. And it's free exposure,
definitely.
That's awesome. That's such an interesting
Russo
story.
brothers, if you're listening and you need Power Man in your next movie, give me a call.
He's your guy. He's your guy. Give him a call. So what is something that you wish that someone would have told you when you first started out on YouTube?
To start sooner.
Okay.
I wish I had somebody pull me by my ear and put me in front of the keyboard and just set up the account now.
Right.
To tell you the truth, the way things are going, if I had have known just how fulfilling it can be for someone that's in entertainment, I would have started a lot sooner, And I did. I mean, I'm sure your question didn't mean specifically that, but, if it's like pitfalls and stuff like that, I mean, you're going to... I don't think there's anything I thought, man, I wish somebody had told me that, but you have to have a thick skin.
Oh, you do.
Anyone that's in entertainment, you're going to have it. I mean, you're doing podcasts. You sound like a great guy, great personality. You're not like a shock jock or anything like that. People that get online just for hate, but you're a nice guy. And I'm sure you get hate comments.
All the time.
It's like, no, like why? He's a nice guy. He's interviewing people.
Right.
You're hating. So please, anyone that's thinking about doing it, just know that it comes with it. And it really means nothing. You're doing a good job, if anything, if you're starting to get a lot of hate.
Right. So someone like you who, over the 10, 11 episodes I've had so far, I haven't really had anybody in this space, in the entertainment space, as close to the heartbeat of entertainment like what you're doing in LA and things like that. What have you found to be the benefit of creating those reaction videos, creating the videos that you create? What have you found to be the benefit for you? As I know you said, like you've landed maybe small roles in movies, voiceover jobs, and things like that. But creating this free content on YouTube, what have you found the benefits being for you in your space?
Well, I mean, what's really weird is I was talking to Ryan Wright from The Real Rejects about this, and I was telling him how this is going to sound kind of funny, but
go ahead.
You know how Superman or any other character that has these powers, after saving someone or knowing that they have these powers,
right,
feel like they have a responsibility,
absolutely,
to then use their power. That's almost how it feels. I said, there have been days when we've been tired or worn out, but we get these emails that talk about, when I come home from work, you're my only enjoyment. I've literally gotten stuff that's, you helped me not to commit suicide. You're my, you helped me with my girlfriend, all these other things. And it's like, well, I can't stop now. It's really fulfilling to know that you have a reach,
right,
that's that broad where you're really able to help people just enjoy their space in life,
right,
through you.
And sometimes maybe you're not like this, but sometimes we underestimate the reach we have when we create these videos that go out to the world, and we underestimate, well, hey, these videos are being watched by, in your case, thousands, tens and 20 and hundreds of thousands of people at a time, and we underestimate the reach of these videos and what they can do in a person's life.
Yes.
And I think the kind of videos that you create are even more in line with that than even like what I do in the technology space. A lot of times people get off work and they just want to laugh, and
right.
Turning on YouTube, getting an iPad out and going to Tyrone's channel and just watching some of his videos that he's produced that day. I think sometimes we underestimate the reach that we have.
Right. Especially, I'm mainly known for reactions, but, people tell me that, it's just like watching videos with a friend. When you see a great video and you're like, I can't wait to see what James thinks it is. You go over their house or you watch it with them and you're just sitting there looking at their face to see how they're going to react.
Right.
That's what people really love about it. They feel like they have a friend to watch videos with now. And, it's interesting because even big companies like Target and Sony, like Sony reached out to all the reactors at one point because they wanted us to all do a video for a new movie of theirs that was coming out.
Right.
So I think big business is really catching on to reactions in general.
Explain to the audience how that works. I know I've been contacted by tech companies, and I've done reviews and overviews and things like that for my channel. Explain how that works. How like from the start to finish. How did like Sony reach out to you, and what would you recommend to the audience if they're wanting to, place themselves in a position to where they get, reached out to by these companies?
Well, start your channel, be genuine, be yourself, and they will come. I mean, once you've built it. I mean, like when Sony contacted me and the rest of the reactors, they were I believe they paid us too. Yeah, I think it was a paid reaction. Yeah, they asked us to take a look. I can't remember. I don't quote me on that.
Actually. I'm not quoting you on that. I promise.
But they asked us all to take a look at it, and it was kind of cool because it gave us exposure with a movie and everything, and it's really simple, man. It's like not a crazy process. Like other YouTubers have asked me to react to their videos, and it's just it's one hand washing the other.
Right.
It's like, hey, good business, exposure for both of us. I had fun doing it. Let's do it again sometime.
Right. So
now, it's not like you're paying me to be on your show.
Right.
We're helping each other out, and we're having a good time having a conversation.
Sure, absolutely. Now, are there any things you can do as a creator if there's anybody listening to this that the AdSense revenue, as we all know as creators, is declining, and I believe personally, being on the inside of the knowledge, I believe, as I've said previously on other episodes, that revenue is going to continue to probably go downward, maybe not dramatically, but it will continue to go downward, where us as creators, we need to look for other opportunities for revenue sources, like what you're doing, like what you did with Sony, and companies reaching out to you, promoting other YouTube channels. Are there anything that the listeners can do to put themselves in a better spot, for companies to start looking at them to be their spokesperson?
Well, I do know a YouTuber that was looking for product placement, which is really big with YouTubers.
Absolutely.
And he was told by his network that now he's a reactor also, although he doesn't just do that, but he's a reactor, and he said that he was told to make less videos per day. That apparently has something to do with them coming to you.
Okay.
But yeah, that was one thing with that. But if you want to make more, from what I understand, that's the way to go, because there are YouTubers, I mean, they get a nice, you already know, they make a nice chunk of change putting in one product in their video. And it's like, wait a minute. I made that in a month, and you made that for showing that. You know what I mean?
It's unreal. It's unreal.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just like, and a lot of times because we're online, people look at us, as these either wannabe celebrities or, you know what I mean? They almost they discount us. They almost, degrade, downgrade us like we're not really that important. They don't know the companies that are contacting us to be their spokesperson, just like Michael Jordan might be drinking a Coke. We're asked to do the same stuff.
Yeah. And a lot of times on their side, from the company's point of view, it's almost more successful for, they're getting more return on their money. They're not having to pay that multi-million-dollar deal with a celebrity, but, as we all know, the YouTube watch time and people who are watching YouTube and the amount they're watching is just increasing. I mean, it's just going up as the time progresses, and eventually that'll reach a peak and it'll kind of continue, it'll go down, but right now it's still on the up. And because of that, these companies are realizing they can get more bang for their buck by reaching out to some of these quote unquote real people on YouTube, and they're getting more bang for that buck that they're spending, because these people are actually watching these YouTube videos and they're going and buying these products because their favorite YouTubers have recommended it. And there's a story right now that I read just a couple weeks ago about a video game who got played by one of the big gaming YouTube channels, and it was doing nothing. It had flatlined, and then once that YouTuber played it, it just exploded. And
that rings a bell. I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, and it's unbelievable.
Exactly. One thing I gotta say, and this goes out to everyone listening, I absolutely love our subscribers because our subscribers, we're almost like how there's the big budget movies like Terminator,
right?
But then there's the smaller movies that have like just a huge cult following,
that rabid fan base. Yeah,
exactly. And like YouTubers are like that. We have followers that will follow us off a cliff if we jumped.
Absolutely.
They just love us and they trust us, and that's where the responsibility comes in. But I think the big business also knows it's like their fans are loyal. They're going to listen to them, and that's where another thing comes in. People always ask me, well, when you get big, are you going to sell out? No, because you don't see me do a lot of product placement at all.
Right.
I do unboxings, but only a couple of them were sent to me by big companies to open for you guys. Like a lot of them I just get on my own. So I don't want to have that on my back, on my conscience.
It's a lot of it is about building trust. With those 700,000 subscribers that you have, you've had to build the trust with those people, and that's why companies are reaching out to you, because they know that rabid fan base that you have. And that's what I try to tell people who listen to this show. I know a guy, and this is the truth. I'm not going to say who it is, but I know a guy with under 50,000 subscribers who is making anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 a month on YouTube. And the thing is that people think you've got to have these astronomical numbers. Now, what you've done with 700,000 subscribers, you're on your way to 1 million. That's amazing. And I'm not saying you don't want to get there, because you do. But you don't have to have those numbers be so crazy high in order to start making a living. And that's what I try to get across to people who listen to the show and who comment on my videos.
Right. You don't. All you gotta have is that loyalty.
That's it. You gotta have that trust from your audience. It's completely about trust. Now, the next question that I have for you, Tyrone, is this: are there any YouTube tools that you could recommend to our audience that you could not live without? Whether it be software, hardware, whatever you do to produce your videos, is there a couple things that you use that you just couldn't live without?
No.
Not really.
And I'll tell you this though, because this came up yesterday. I had a girl on the show, and she was starting her YouTube channel. I helped her set it up and everything, and she was worried about editing. And for a lot of you who are not techies, you don't know how to use all the software, they have a very easy to use software manager, where you can make your own, movies after you upload it. So don't let that, see, a lot of people let these little roadblocks bother them. Oh, well, I don't know how to use this up. Don't worry about it. Just learn how to use it, okay? It's very easy to use. So that's one thing, though, that I couldn't live without when I did first start, was their manager, because I never used any other software.
And what manager is that?
The video, what's it called? The video editor. I'm sorry.
Okay, so you actually, do you use the YouTube video editor when you edit your videos?
No, I use Adobe Premiere Elements.
Okay, that's awesome. So the software that you use to edit your videos with every day when you edit your videos is Premiere Pro from Adobe?
Yes.
Okay, awesome.
No, not Premiere Pro. Adobe Premiere Elements 12.
Premiere Elements 12. Awesome. That's fantastic. Now, what kind of camera do you use?
I have a Sony Handycam. It's a 4K model.
Right. Okay. Awesome.
Yeah, there's only a couple of them out there, and yeah, it's pretty nice.
And the reason why I ask the people who come on the show these questions is because I want the audience to understand that you don't have to have the best of the best.
Oh, yeah. Wait a minute. Now, I didn't get that until 3 years in.
Right.
I started out with a 720p Samsung.
Right.
And I didn't get a new one camera until that one literally started glitching and burning out and giving me problems.
Right. A lot of times it's about having the confidence to put yourself on camera. Maybe you can talk about that for a minute. In the majority of your videos, your face is in the video. What kind of advice would you give to people out there who maybe are afraid, like what we talked about earlier about the trolls on the internet? They're going to be there regardless of who you are. What would you tell someone who is not so confident about putting themselves on camera?
Okay, well, here's the thing. If you go back and you look at a video called Introducing Tyrone Magnus to the World, it's one of the first videos I did, and I was self-checking myself the whole time. I was very timid. I was very quiet. I wasn't exactly who I am today.
Right.
So that is something that you're just going to have to go through. It's like public speaking. In the beginning, you're a little nervous, maybe even terrified, but the more you do it, the better you're going to get. So I had, there's a guy named Tyrone that does these little vines where he goes up to people and basically he tells a man he's going to make love to his wife.
Right.
Have you seen this guy?
I've seen this guy, yeah.
Yes. I've interviewed him, and he told me, as far as trolls go, he said he rarely, if ever, looks at his comment section. Okay. Now, with my type of videos, I usually do look at my comment section from time to time because I want to hear and keep my, if I'm on that heartbeat, so I know what's going on out there, what videos I need to check out. But a lot of you can just rant if you want. If you have rants or whatever other videos you make, you never have to look at the comment section if you really don't feel like it. But I'm just sorry. I know curiosity is going to kill the cat, and you are going to look at the comments, and you're going to get a troll here and there. And I say, don't worry about them.
Right.
Ban them if it bothers you a little bit. I like banning people personally. If you came here to start trouble, I'm going to make sure you can't do it anymore.
Right.
And it's very easy to do. Click ban. That's it.
Right.
So don't worry about it.
And I'm of the belief that everybody has a voice, right? Everybody has a voice, and there's something inside of you that you need to share. And when you create these videos, like what you've talked about earlier on in this interview about how you didn't realize until you've got those emails about how much impact you did have on somebody's life. And there may be something inside of you that you're afraid to get on a camera and present, but that video could eventually help somebody get through something. And that's what I'm all about. I'm about creating content that's going to help people, help them just be better people. And I think there's a lot of you out there who are scared to get on the camera because you're afraid of what people are going to say. Trust me, there's a lot of times I put content out and I'm like, oh man, I go back and I listen to it a couple years later or whatever. I'm like, man, that was really bad. You're going to get better. You're automatically going to gain confidence. And if you watch Tyrone's first video and then you watch his more recent videos, you're going to see he exudes more confidence because he's been doing it. So the longer you do it, the more you put yourself out there, the more confident you're going to be in the long run.
You know who's a good example of that? And I always think of him when I think of this. Snoop Dogg.
Yeah.
If you grew up with Snoop Dogg and you used to see him in interviews when he first started, he was really quiet. He used to look at the ground. His eyes were all shifty, like he didn't want to talk.
Right.
But after he became Snoop Dogg, the man.
Right.
Oh, he was so used to it. Now he's just,
Right.
Yeah, he's himself. And that is just how it's going to happen. And keep in mind, you are going to inspire someone else that relates to you that thought, I don't think I can do this. But they're like, hey, I see a lot of them in myself. If they can do it, I can do it.
Exactly.
I know you get emails saying, hey, you inspired me to start my own podcast. It happened.
Right. It does. So let me ask you this question. If you could give one piece of advice to an emerging YouTuber or someone who wants to start a YouTube channel, what would that advice be?
Be yourself and go with your own vision. Okay. And what I mean by that, you don't have to be so headstrong to where you don't listen to advice at all. But everyone's got the magic bullet, just like in entertainment and anything else. You ever notice, especially, as a guy, a lot of us know when you go to the gym, I don't know if girls go through this, but when you go to the gym, every guy in there wants to give you advice on how to lift.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, oh my God, I got a vision. I've trained a little bit. I know my good form. I can do this. So like with YouTube, people always ask me, well, what do I do? What type of videos do I make? Is this market part of the market saturated? I said, look, if you are yourself and you are genuine, you will build your own following through what you do.
Absolutely.
Levi's makes jeans, but so do a bunch of other companies.
Mm-hmm.
And they're making money hand over fist by being themselves, making their own product. You are going to attract your fan base. So please be yourself, anybody that's out there, and bring 100% of you out.
Absolutely. That's. I mean,
You can.
yeah, I don't have anything else to add there. That was fantastic. I completely agree with that. Be yourself and do the type of videos that make you happy, and I promise you there will be an
Yes.
audience out there for that.
Yeah, because then it will become like a job, that you hate.
Right.
If you're doing videos that you don't want to do.
Correct. Agreed. So, Tyrone, the next question is, what is next for your YouTube channel? And the backside of that question is, where do you see YouTube going as a platform in the future?
Oh man. Well, of course my next stop is 1 million.
Right.
But I don't see my channel. I don't know if I'll ever stop doing YouTube videos. My main goal is to be an actor and actually be in a superhero movie. That's like my main goal. But I think I'll always do it. And I think as big as YouTube is, who knows? I mean, when I think of YouTube, I think of stuff like Netflix. Remember when Netflix first came out?
Absolutely.
Now it's like, wait a minute. Major studios are now making series exclusive for Netflix now.
And I think that's going to continue, and it's going to be bigger and bigger. Yes. And it's that more studios are going to learn, hey, we can, again, get more bang for our buck by going on Netflix. It's the same model as they use on YouTube.
Exactly. And that's why I think, like with YouTube, if you've been part of it for a while, you've seen it totally evolve from what it used to be. And I think it's just going to continue to grow and get bigger and better,
Absolutely. So to end this interview, this is a fun question that I like to ask people, and I always am interested to see what the answer to this question is. What are some guilty pleasure channels that you watch on YouTube? What are some of your favorite YouTube channels that maybe we haven't heard of, or maybe we have, but just those channels that you watch that maybe other people don't know about?
I don't know if they don't know about them, but I mean, everyone knows that, like, I watched the Hodge twins.
Mm-hmm.
I watched Jenna Marbles.
Right.
I watched Cartoon Hooligans. I watched Team 4-Star. It's just so many out there that I watch. I love watching Comics Explained because I haven't really read comics seriously in a long time.
Right.
And he has a great voice for
I absolutely, I want to interject here. I absolutely love that channel. I discovered it over 6 months ago. I'm a big comic book person. I don't have time to read them. I have a little girl just over a year old right now, so I don't have time to read them right now. But keeping up with him through his channel, he's got a great way of presenting. And if you know him personally, let him know I'd like to have him on the show.
Oh, okay. I'll write him. I don't know him personally, but someone told me that he watches me. And
that's
that
great.
He likes my channel, so that's cool. I'll write him and let him know.
That's great.
I watch Comics Explained, watch Mojo. I mean, just so many that I watch, and if I've left them out, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm the guy that binge watches. I'll just lay back sometimes and just watch these channels and just listen to them for a while.
Yeah, it's fun. The way that YouTube allows that platform to where you can just pop open your iPad or your iPhone or Android device and just open up a channel and go to a playlist and listen to it almost like a podcast sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's such an interesting format. So before I let you go, Tyrone, let everybody in the audience know where they can find you.
You can find me mainly on my channel, which is Tyrone Magnus. And I also have 2 other channels that I just started because my fans requested it. They want a Tyrone Magnus Answers channel where I answer all of your questions, no matter what it is. You need advice, I give it. And I have my gaming channel, of course, Tyrone Magnus Gaming, so you can come watch me. Basically a gamer that retired and is now coming back.
Do it. That's awesome.
So don't expect a bunch of expert gameplay. Expect a guy playing games and commentary.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
You can find me on Instagram too, Tyrone Magnus, and Twitter, Tyrone Magnus 77, and of course my Facebook fan page, which is Tyrone Magnus.
Now, all of these links, listeners, will be in the show notes, and I'll publish that with the episode, so make sure you check that out.
Oh, one more. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
You can find me on Riff.tv.
Okay.
That is a company that has struck a deal with Netflix, and I actually do watch certain Netflix movies and shows that, of course, you wouldn't be able to do on YouTube.
Sure.
There. So you can go watch me there.
Awesome. Well, I'll have him send me all of those links so I can put them in the show notes, like I said. And again, I want to just give you a big thank you, Tyrone, for taking this 30 minutes out to talk to us. And I think you've dropped some really awesome stuff for our listeners to go back and apply to their channels.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. You're a good interviewer.
I appreciate that, and hopefully we can continue this on for years to come, as well as your channel. And good luck,
cool, man. Hey,
good luck with the 1 million.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. This is what I'm going to do, man. I really like your interview style. So check this out. If I hit it big, all right, no matter how big I get, if I'm A-list celebrity with handlers and bodyguards,
okay,
you can give me a call, and I'll still do an interview. I'm not going to get too big for my britches. You can call me, and I will do that interview with
That's what I'm talking about. Well, listen, good luck on the 1 million subscribers, and I will talk with you later.
All right, man.
You've been listening to the YouTube Creators Podcast. We want to thank you and invite you to subscribe to the show, as well as support us on Patreon for great perks, such as having your YouTube channel featured on the show and a link on our website. Until next time, keep uploading those videos.